Folks, hello and welcome to Talking Crit. Yeah, I know, back-to-back days. Don't get spoiled. All right, we ain't
Yeah,
talking.
don't.
Don't,
This isn't
don't.
happening. This didn't happen for a long
You see
time,
this,
Kim.
this gray
I'm
hair? That's why I get it. So in any case,
tired.
my work spouse is screen right. That's bad, Mike. And even Rachel admits he's my work spouse. Down below us,
Mm.
not because they belong below us, but because it just happened to be where they are, is the two principal. Actually, they're the only people behind Silver Bulette. I can't call them the two principals because that they are Silver Bulette. That's Rocky to my left and Ian to my right. Welcome,
Hmm.
John. So, holy.
Hello.
And
Hello.
by the way, for you folks that are like complaining, like the wiki, that like maybe Bad Mike and I are exhausted from last night's live stream. By the way, we might be. That's not the reason
Yes.
why we were bullshitting about stuff that we couldn't bullshit about during the show. Sorry. Not trying to like tell you guys that we talk about stuff that can't be public, but we talk about stuff that can't be public. So
Oh,
that was the delay. And yes, Mike is still tired, but hey.
I'm still tired. I took a nap today. I'm still tired. Because I'm not 3 hours is a that's a tough one, man. And I don't know how these guys that do these streams that they do these 7 hour streams where they make. Well, I guess if we were getting money the whole time, I could that would get me all pumped up. But some of these guys
Uh,
do six
Mike,
and
I'm
seven
gonna
hour
guess we
streams.
we probably made about $3 yesterday altogether for 24 hours.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay, so my share
That's
comes out
success,
to. Oh,
though.
I didn't want to add it up. I didn't want to, the math
No,
is
no, you don't.
crazy.
Trust me, you don't want to edit.
No. Mm-mm.
And
That's
by the
role
way,
playing game success, though. You guys are like, that's you're probably the fifth most money making role playing game company in history right now with $3 profit.
I
There's
figured out.
Watsy, Frog God, Paizo. Yeah,
No,
we're right
no,
there.
honestly, I actually did some math, and I figured out for March this so far this year between affiliate sales, actual sales and drive through, Humble Bundle affiliate monies, and the YouTube channel. Assuming I work 1 hour a day doing this shit, I am making New York State minimum wage of $15 a day.
Can't ask for more than that, brother.
No, I
That's good
can't.
stuff.
No, that's it. There you go. $15 an hour, $15 a day. I mean, what more do you need?
That's
Jeez.
like twice the minimum wage in my area.
So we have
well, you live in nowhere land, man. Come
yeah.
on, you live up in don't and just you,
Listen,
Joe.
when Putin's nuke comes, you're going to
Yeah.
be trying to drive your ass up here and asking to stay in my yard with your tent. So
Listen. We're amongst friends, and I've been told that I curse like a sailor, and I go, no, I curse like an NYPD cop. You live in butt fuck nowhere, so
Golly.
I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
there's like 2 roads into my town.
okay. So
And,
there.
and when there's a little bit of traffic, you're like, Jesus Christ, what is this?
All right.
Like,
So
this is awful.
here's my question, and it's an important one because when my parents have a house in the Poconos in Hawley, there is one street light in town. And that's a recent development, maybe in the last 10, 15 years. How many street lights are in your town?
We've got a fair amount, but like the edge of my town bumps up against Manchester. And it's an area that has like a different little area name, but it's pretty sweet because it supports the town with like retail taxes.
Okay.
As it goes.
Okay.
It's little shops.
Wild
my town proper, there's like 2, like where the village is, where I live.
Hey, once you have street lights, you're urban environment.
They use circles instead of street lights.
Oh no, dude, you and your that's like New Jersey.
I'm getting bored. Let's roll on. Can we just talk about? I'm getting bored.
I want to address Wild Die. $15 a day, no, $15 an hour. But we're gonna say I put an hour into this every day. I probably put in more, but we'll just say, assuming I put in that 1 hour, I'm making minimum wage.
Oh, and there's so we have hello to Matt. Oh, all you guys. Greg is in here. Greg is he's probably waiting to hear some words about Dwaro Deep because we'll be talking about Dwaro Deep tonight because Rocky here is doing the layout correct on Dwaro Deep. And we have another celebrity here because Ian here has done the cartography for the new the Redwoods of Thay book that our friends Alex Kamer and Ed Greenwood put out. So you guys have been really busy lately, man. Tell us about your projects you've been.
Mike Slade did a really good overland for that book too. That's really great. And then we have a Kickstarter running as well. So
yeah, well, let's talk about your okay. Let's talk about your Kickstarter first.
Yeah, get heck with other people's stuff. Come on.
But no, your Kickstarter looks great. So tell us about your Kickstarter.
It's a fantasy zine. It's multi-system.
Talk do you have in you?
I have a lot of talk in it. I always have. I talk all the time.
The reason why I ask how much talk do you have in you, I'm probably going to have to do the reboot. So you're going to be in charge for 2 minutes.
The 2 minutes, I can't fuck it up too bad.
That sounds dangerous.
Right. All right. Mike's in charge. I'll be right back.
All right. So I'm looking right now. Fantastic Geographic issue 1. You've already hit your goal. Your goal was only $300. So you guys didn't have much confidence. You guys had no confidence.
Well, I'll tell you that, but I mean, we were printing no matter what.
Yeah.
We were printing no matter what. I think we sent you a pretty much finished PDF too.
Yeah, it's missing a few maps, but otherwise it's.
But like the only thing that's going into the PDF we sent you is just art and some more maps, and then she's ready to blow.
Well, a physical and PDF is $15. I'm wondering whether I should pledge the extra money to get the $30 signed physical copy, because I see you guys all the time, so it seems like a waste of money to spend $15 to get the signed copy. I mean,
it's not us signing them; it's someone else signing them.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, well, that's okay. That's the case. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have guest signers this year.
Just guest.
Mike, we need to talk privately about you signing for me at North Texas instead of me.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, no problem. I can sign. I can sign whatever name. I do a great Gary Gygax. I can do Alan Hammock. I can do a couple other guys too. You can have some really famous people sign it. So Gary's is really easy. Gary's is actually pretty easy.
Do Mr. Spawn for me, please.
Spawn actually. And speaking of the new dad, he's even got a piece in here. He's got a pretty sweet creature in there. It's a cute little bird.
James had his first son. He already had a daughter, so he's a proud papa again, which is congratulations.
Congratulations to him.
He's a miserable fucking human being, but I have to
young Bilbo Spawn, I imagine, right?
He said.
Did we get confirmation on Bilbo?
No, it's Sam.
I know. I saw it. I just had to.
Bilbo would have been great. Yeah, Bilbo would have been awesome.
That would have been amazing.
That poor kid would have been just teased.
That kid, just the toughest kid
hey,
ever.
It's Dildo, man. Look at Dildo. Yeah, that would have been awful. Yeah. Sam's great. Sam is a great name, but congratulations to James. That is awesome news. James had a hard time, but he's awesome. He's a great guy.
Kickstarter has done well. We've hit our printing costs and everything, so that's what we like to say. Our claim to fame is we've never lost money producing a book. So
you did Creeping Cold.
Was a Kickstarter. And then we've done some other smaller release items. I just did, when Rocky was down for the count, we did a charity zine, which did pretty well. Raised some money to help out his family, and that was all. Everybody.
A lot of people helped out on that. Thank you all again.
Speaking of down for the count, you're looking pretty good, Rocco. You had a little scare a while back, and so you guys were tooting along pretty good with Silver Bulette, and then all of a sudden, boom! Something happened to Rocky, and you guys had to.
I got lung cancer. I mean, they found a tumor on my upper right lobe of my lung. And right in the middle of COVID, I'm in the hospital getting a third of my lung removed. So not great, but it's what it is. I survived. I'm a year and a half cancer free now, year and 8 months. It was in July of 2020 that happened. So tomorrow morning, I've got another doctor's appointment with the lung specialist. So hopefully everything will be still hunky-dory, but I expect it to be.
Mm-hmm.
But deal. It knocked me out for that's why there's such a big gap between Creeping Cold and this one, is because I was down for literally a year and a half.
And we were pretty much mid project for a sequel to Creeping Cold, Like I think we'd done it was 80% there. We'd been gathering art. We'd been doing all the steps to check off the boxes in the list of what we need to do to publish it. And then Rocky got lung cancer. So I thought that project was dead, but Rocky recently has kicked that one in the ass too, and we're starting to move that one towards publication pretty quick.
Yeah,
as well.
20 pages are laid out on that one now. I've identified 10 or 12 spots that need some rewrites and edits, and I've got several pieces of art that I'm ready to talk to Ian about getting made for us. So you'll be seeing that one probably later this year or early next year.
We're hoping to grab Del Tigler for a lot of that art because we just his figure work and his style matches that one.
Speaking of Del, we've got so many good artists on our books on the Fantastic Geographic.
Yeah, you guys know everybody
as he's scrolling down right now.
Ed see Ed Bickford's in there. Who else?
Jonathan
that fish is the fish right there is Lloyd Metcalf.
You've met that guy before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Lloyd.
I don't know who did that map. It's kind of hacky.
He's okay.
I believe the map is super hacky. We probably got that guy on the cheap.
Wow.
Yeah, right.
Could it be Ian?
Yeah, it was definitely.
It looks good. I like it. I love that style. That's old school style. I love it.
I don't know what style I guess Mr. Wampler said I do have a style. I guess I like to think of it as like old school, just a little polished up, like a little upscaled for the modern enthusiast. But we have all sorts of charts in there for old school stuff. The mushroom one's great.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell does this mushroom do? Like, eat it and find out, buddy. I got a chart for that.
Those monsters right there. I want to talk a little bit about those because that's a joke section that Ian and I came up with a while back when we were talking about doing a zine to begin with. And we've got we went through and found a bunch of old public domain art of weird monsters and creatures and stuff and just laid them out on a page with like 1-sentence stories to get you started on how to possibly use them in your game. There's some awesome stuff in there that's just great.
That's pretty good shit though. Wait, how much? $15 for a physical and PDF copy.
But $30 you get a signed copy. But don't spend your money on that because you'll see them at the con. So
I was about to say.
Say $15.
But I will steal your pen if you ask me to sign something for you. Just an FYI.
That's why I carry a pink pen because I know
that's why, and I'm colorblind, so I don't care.
Now, when will this come? Will this be out before North Texas this year or not?
Our goal is. Yeah, I mean, in all likelihood, yes, we should have physical copies by that. We're really just at this point, like I said, waiting for. So Daisy Bingham is coloring Jonathan's cover, which we were really excited about, and that they should have for us by the end of March. Del Tigler just handed in the last of his pieces. We're waiting on some pieces from Keelan Halverson and Dave Simpson, the gentleman that you introduced us to, Mike, as well. And then we're ready to publish. So
I forgot. David's really excited. He's that's kind of an interesting story. He's a guy I knew on a. This was cool about the whole RPG industry, and just the fact I know these guys and just these guys for a while. And I'm on one of my Discords, a comic book Discord, and a guy is posting some art he did, and I was like, man, that's pretty good. That looks like Dave Sola. That's like really old school. He said, yeah, I really like old school art. And I've known this guy about 5 or 6 years. I didn't know I knew he drew comics or a little bit of comics, but I didn't know he could draw anything fantasy. And so
he's
I started
a little early trampier to me too. Like
a little early. Yeah, it's really good stuff. And so I showed it around, and I thought it was good, but I don't trust my taste all the time. The stuff I like is And so, I mean, look who I've got on my wall. I mean, I know these guys, just hacks mostly. So, no, but I started showing it around. Everybody I showed it to loved it. Eric loved it, and I showed it to Ben Burns. Ben Burns, what does he know? But he said he loved it. And then I showed it to you guys. You guys, yeah, we loved it. And so I said, look, I'd like you to draw some stuff for me because I want to do something that Eric and I talked about last year that we still haven't got to start on is these pub crawls. And I've got a couple of short dungeons already finished. I just need some cartography and some art.
Well, we
And
have
so,
cartography, kind of, sort of.
well, we have the cartography. We're using free cartography, but if I could get somebody like Ian McCarty to redraw the maps, that would be kick-ass awesome.
Oh,
So
wait, you want a professional?
I may have to.
I might help
I mean,
Eric out, but
I'll slip you 20. Come on, man. I'm not talking about free.
what kind of
yeah,
exposure would I get for this?
He'll buy you a burrito from the truck that
Yeah.
in North Texas. Come on, man. It is a deal.
That is tempting.
I'll buy you two.
This that taco truck is
hold out for hard 8, man.
You could go to the there's a convention you can go to. There's all these really big names there you can meet, and so I introduce you around to these guys. Alan Hammock, I know this guy Alan Hammock. He's pretty cool, and Zach Glazer, a couple of guys like that.
I met him.
But yeah, so this guy David is never drawn professionally. He's like in his late 30s or something, and he was just so overjoyed to be. People thought his art's good, so we lowballed him. No, I'm just kidding. But no, but his stuff's really good. I think when you see it, you'll really enjoy it. And I think his stuff is going to start appearing in a lot of the old school publications.
I think we got some of his pencils before, like his pre-inks.
Yeah, he showed me some of the stuff he did for me. It's pretty good. I mean, like I said, I thought it was very David Sutherland.
He even did some like mix of style for us too, and like was really like he's got a good eye.
Yeah,
I like that's why one reason I just love the RPG, the whole RPG industry we got here, because everybody talks everybody else up. There's not a lot of jealousy or anything, or if somebody knows something that can do a job, they just refer them along to somebody else, and it's just great. I love the fact it's mostly there's a lot of low ego people here, except for Greg Gillespie. Everybody else. No, I'm just kidding, Greg. I love you, Greg. No, but it's a bunch of low ego people, and it's great. I mean, it's just I love working with all these guys. I love and I can't wait to see you guys at the con in a few weeks. Now, you guys were were you guys at Total Con or?
Yeah,
Ian, you were there. Yeah,
Total Con.
Yeah, we were both there.
Yeah. So how was Total Con? Did y'all like it?
It was good. It was
be honest.
Normal.
Yeah, I heard there was maybe not as many people there as usual. So,
but I mean, it's to be expected post COVID. But it was a good convention. Everybody was happy. Got games in.
Oh wait, it wasn't really post COVID. If you had a mask mandate, it's kind of still like late COVID.
I think that might have turned some people off. They were Massachusetts was like in the midst of removing their mask mandates. So I think Total Con just got unlucky in regards to that on whatever weekend they did.
Well, Total Con and Gary Con have gotten absolutely screwed the last 2 years because they have got I guess Total Con was lucky in 2020 because they were pretty much the last con there was for a couple of years. But
yeah, that was the last in person for us for a bunch of years. So
but they both got unlucky the last few years. It just seems like COVID always peaks right around the winter months of February, March. We've been very lucky in North Texas because we've had a kind of a cessation of. I mean, we've had low COVID cases because you go in June, warm weather, so we've been very lucky. But a lot of these early year cons have had terrible luck.
Yeah.
But but also there you got to see all the Frog God guys were there, so you finally got to see Zach and them for the first time in a while.
Yeah, we did, and we hung around Boston with everybody, like Rocky and Zach and the wives all went around Boston, tooling around for a few days after too, which was a lot of fun.
Saw the pictures of food, obviously. When Zach's
it was restaurants punctuated by checking out other cool stuff like
and me dragging them down the Freedom Trail once.
Yeah, which
I really?
Was down with, really? I'm down with Freedom Trail.
Well, so Rocky well fed. That's the only question I have because
we were all definitely
well those damn pictures, man. I was like, enough. I can't.
So Rocky,
I cannot keep up with that meeting. Let me put it that way.
All right,
go ahead, Rocky. You're doing Dwaro Deep now, which is Greg. We had Greg on a couple weeks ago. That's his newest mega dungeon. Are you finished yet, or are you still working on the layout?
I believe I'm finished with the OSR version. Pretty sure. I started the 5e version today. I'm about 50 pages in out of 350 pages with that.
Jeez.
So his and my goal is to have that done before I head to GaryCon March 21st or something. Whenever GaryCon is, that Wednesday I'm leaving, so I intend to have that finished up before then.
So you guys are going to be at GaryCon. That's cool.
I am. Ian's not this time.
Oh, Ian's not. Okay. Ian, are you protesting anything, or you just can't be at GaryCon this year?
Just can't make it. Beth planned Disney this year, so which is like, I'm like, this is the one Disney trip, never again already. So I've gotta
You haven't even gone yet.
take it.
Well, Rocky,
take it for the team.
Who are you sleeping with then, Rocky? If you can't sleep with Ian,
I'm going to cuddle with Skeeter all weekend.
What?
I'm cuddling with Skeeter all weekend.
Oh, he's a lot different than Ian. That's going to be rough. That's a rough one.
Yeah,
But
well,
he's a lot rougher than me.
yeah.
Does Skeeter share a king size bed, or does he insist on 2 queen beds instead?
I have no idea. I'll figure it out when I get there.
Okay, now I'm giving you a hard time because for those who don't know, I'm gonna bust you guys wide open here. These guys, they have been known to share a king bed at conventions, and Ian brags about it. He has actually bragged about the fact
we don't give a shit. So listen,
right? Like it's not a big deal to us.
For many years, we shared convention space with like 4 dudes. The guaranteed way to get a bed around a bunch of homophobic dudes is to get one big bed, and I don't give a shit. Like you don't give a shit.
I didn't either. I was like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed.
Guaranteed comfort. This is weird. Just don't mock our genius.
Yeah, right.
That is
15 years later, we'll still share a bed, no problem.
No, that's genius thinking. That really is. You're right. Because I mean, come on, a king bed. You're not gonna touch each other. Come on,
right?
You
a full size might be an issue. You might be playing footsies, but a king size, you're pretty good.
Yeah. If it's good enough for Queequeg, it's good enough for us.
And a lot of times people, when they ask for a room, they'll say, all we have left is king beds. So you're like, oh, well, no, I can't do that. I'm sharing with the dude. You guys are like, hell yeah, give it to me. King That's what we want. We'll take it, man.
Yeah. Do like the scout. Just flip it. Like your head goes one way. Rocky's head goes the other way. You're good.
I'm not waking up in somebody's junk. No.
Ask Jake how many times he stared at that bed and then decided to not do it. So there you have your answer.
So he was.
Oh, we give an air mattress now. It's okay.
So Spoon's always on the floor then, right?
No, he's got an air mattress. It's okay.
Oh, okay. He's all right then. He's on an air mattress. Oh man.
Yeah, for him, it's only Spoon.
That's funny. That is great. Well, I'm missing you guys at the cons because I'm so used to going to GaryCon and having you guys play pranks on me. Because for those who don't know, these guys, I've never pranked them, but they pranked me like 15 times because Zach is a traitor and will let them into the room on a moment's notice.
The only way.
There's other ways too. Okay, there's other traitors too. Okay, great.
How many times have we been in your room? You think Zach was around for all those?
I don't want to know because it makes me scared. Then I start getting frightened. But so they'll go in my room and do stuff like put a pumpkin in my bed, which I actually enjoy. I enjoyed the pumpkin.
Wait! You enjoyed a pumpkin in your bed?
There are some great pictures of that pumpkin.
There's pictures to show that.
When you finally discovered it, it was like 2 days after I'd put it in there. That was the best part, that you just like passed out of that bed and didn't notice it for several days.
But the pumpkin looked relaxed, right? He looked like he was doing all right. Yeah. Pumpkin didn't care what happened. Yeah.
I should have sent that photo to Eric.
We shared a lot.
I've seen enough photos of Mike being abused at cons. I've seen it live. I don't need to see anything further.
I think he was the abuser in this.
I have never been.
I did not do anything that pumpkin didn't want. That pumpkin did not say a word. There's not one thing that pumpkin that happened.
Show me the pumpkin where Bad Mike abused you.
Exactly.
Why?
It's
right here with a stump.
Bad Mike, I take a picture, so I can't handle the real fire like a leprechaun brings. That's all there is to it.
Enough of that. No, that's fun. I can't wait for con stuff to get back to normal. Hopefully next year we're gonna have a full slate without masks, without all this garbage going on. We can all just
no more vaccine mandates that are no longer mandated.
I have a feeling those are gonna go away when mask mandates go away because it's I just have a feeling. I have a feeling
we're already starting to see that happen in a lot of places. If the mask mandate's going, so is the vaccine mandate.
Right. I mean, New York City, we just yesterday, bars, pubs, restaurants, gyms, I guess movie theaters no longer have to have a vaccine mandate. But if you had a vaccine mandate, you didn't need a mask mandate. The mask mandate went away, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. So now they've done away with the vaccine mandate, but you still need a vaccine mandate if you're working. I'm retired, so I don't give a shit. But
New Hampshire never had any of that stuff. It's all like at your
are
own
you
risk.
telling me that you live in a free state? Because
that drives me crazy. So everybody gives Texas shit because we don't have this, and your state didn't have any of this shit either. But nobody says a word about you guys. No, you can do nothing.
Our governor is an amazing politician. He did almost nothing, and so
and you guys you absolutely skated. Nobody even said a word. But when Texas does it, everybody flips out because we didn't have any mask. Or matter of fact, it's illegal to ask for vax.
My favorite move was that people were upset because the governor owns like a big ski resort here. And suddenly, like the ski patrol got bumped up as first responders into the vaccination line when they first came out, which was just amazing.
Gee, that's funny how that happens. That's not politics at work or anything. No,
not at all. But by the way, who the hell is wearing a mask while skiing? Aren't you already socially distant?
You might be all masked up. You should be already masked up anyway. I mean, you should already have a big woolen something over your face. It is so. Well, we were saying actually Texas was we were kind of saved in North Texas because we weren't allowed by law to actually really have a mask or vax mandate, so we were able to kind of push it off. We forestalled a lot of criticism because we didn't have to actually make a decision.
Was that like an old 1820s anti-banditry, anti-stagecoach robbing law?
It might have been
that was in place.
But I mean, that's what's tough about, that's what I feel bad, about for Angela and for Luke at GaryCon, because they're kind of stuck in this nowhere's land of where, their states have been traditionally, pro-vax proof, pro-mask. And so, they're kind of stuck. Well, should we do it or should we not? Because I know people had asked Luke, with all the mask mandates disappearing, are they going to get rid of the mask mandates for GaryCon? And they can't because they've already told everybody yes. So you have people coming from overseas, people from other places that are expecting a mask mandate.
Right.
You can't, 2 weeks before the con say, oh, yeah, we're getting rid of all that stuff. Because then you're going to piss off those people, whereas that's why North Texas didn't. We just went, right off the bat and said, look, we can't even have them, so don't worry about it. And that way, anybody that doesn't want to come are new way ahead of time. But yeah, it's too late to change, right? I mean, at this point, it's way too late to change your mask or your vaccine.
I think that when it comes to restrictions, once a restriction is in place, you're set. Once you start taking money for your event or
yep.
Yeah,
agreed.
You can always add restrictions, and people can go, "Oh shit, I don't like this. I'll cancel," and that's fine. But once you remove restrictions, people go, "Well, hold on a second. I didn't know I had to wear like a thong like Mike's brother at the con. I didn't know that was part of the requirements." And then they're like, "Well, we removed that requirement." Well, hold on a second. I planned on having to wear a thong, and I was excited about that. And now you're telling me that not everybody else is going to wear a thong? I'm very upset.
That's pretty much what Luke said. I mean, Luke said that we have guests coming from Europe that are already expecting us to have a mask mandate, so we can't call it off because then, no matter what they did, they were going to get yelled at by somebody, I guess. But so
that's the nature of business. Like no one's ever 100% pleased.
No, and we learned that we did North Texas. You're never going to make everybody happy, no matter what day you have the con on, no matter what your policy's on. It didn't matter what the policy was. It could be free tacos at the taco truck, and I guarantee you, some numbnuts would say, "Oh, hold on a second. I can't eat tacos. I don't want free
tacos this year. What day is
that?
No.
This is a hypothetical.
You guys heard it here first. Yeah.
No, hypothetical. No, it didn't really happen. Gary.
Free
tacos. Buying
Shut it down.
Ian, it's like my local pub. There's a sign: free beer tomorrow.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Always tomorrow.
It's always tomorrow. It's never today. Free beer tomorrow. So your free tacos?
Silver Bulette. So Silver Bulette is sponsoring a free taco Saturday. That is, that's awesome. That is amazing that you guys are doing that. I mean, that's a good sponsorship. You got to admit that'd be a great sponsorship for you guys. Free taco Thursday.
Independent Publishers Union is sponsoring a room at your Crummy Con, so we've got that going on.
Golly,
it should be a blast. So we'll guarantee at least some good games there.
Holy crap! This got hostile quick. No, yeah, that's right. You guys are going to have. So tell me about. Let's talk about that a little bit. This is so cool because this popped up and all of a sudden it's just gaining momentum. Tell me about the independent publishers group here.
Well, it's a bunch of us small publishers that we were, we're friends anyways, that we, hung around at conventions everywhere together. And all of us are too small to sort of handle a table or anything. So we, like any superhero group, we joined up, thought of a moniker and kind of banded together from there. And it's gone really well for us. Like, we've been able to help promote each other's products. We've been able to sell each other's products while the other people can run games, and it's given us all a lot of freedom as smaller publishers.
So who all is involved in this? Dare I say it?
I'm not sure.
Variety?
Yeah, I'm not sure we're allowed to reveal the secret council name.
Oh my god!
It's we're Total Con and everywhere. It was Northwind with Jeff Talanian. Skeeter Green Productions with Skeeter Green, obviously. Mud Puppy with Jim Wampler, the two of us, and Planet X Games.
Levi, yeah.
Wow, that's a pretty salty lineup there. That's a good deal.
Yeah, it's I mean, for us it's and we all like each other's stuff, so it's super easy for me to sell you one of Jeff's books that I've read the adventure. I've played some of the stuff. I know right. It's really easy to talk about great stuff, really easy.
Oh, I've covered his booth at TotalCon in the past, and it is very easy to sell his shit. What becomes hard is when you're like, oh, I can make change on my own wallet. Hold on a second here. I don't have the. But by the way, Mike, just so you know, Pocket Jack Comics is busting your ass. But
I know.
But Pocket Jack, here's the thing. You actually got to talk to Gary, I suspect.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I'll be honest with you. Gary and I have talked. We're really not doing any comic stuff. We're trying to get all game publishers at the con this year. In the past, we've had a knife dealer come. We've had different guys come over. No, I mean, anybody wants to buy a booth, we'll usually have them come. But we're trying to get all RPG oriented this year. So I don't know if we're going to do any comic companies.
Let's ask him, Pocket Jack. What are you selling?
But we're mostly going to do we're mostly doing RPG stuff. He was actually at the con last year. He had a booth set up. He had a comic booth set up. So
publisher of comic of
yeah, we're mostly going to just stick to RPG oriented stuff. And because we've had a huge response from the RPG industry. I think we've already sold all our tables in the main vendor room, and I think we're going to be able to sell all our tables in the backup room too. So there's been a pretty big. That's one thing I've noticed at a lot of these cons. It seems like the dealers are doing pretty good, or vendors are doing okay. I don't know how you guys did at Total Con, but
Game Hole and Total Con, a convention since COVID, people have done pretty well buying stuff, and I think people are just hungry for games and
for new content in general. Yeah.
And just to get out and stretch their imagination with someone else and bounce ideas and go I don't know about you guys, but every time I've ever been to a convention, it makes whatever game I'm playing better because I go home with fresh ideas and a new outlook. So,
Bill Barr calling you guys the gaming mafia. I'm sorry, man.
Who said that?
Bill Barsh. Bill Barsh. Listen, they are not the ones controlling sanitation, private sanitation in your city. But if
tell him to be careful. I'll be in Florida in April.
If they were, they might know where the bodies are buried. But I'm just saying.
That's definitely a threat. No, I think that's a great idea because a lot of times you go to these conventions. I know Bill Barsh did this for Gen Con a few years back, where because the tables are so expensive there, he went in with a bunch of different people just to get a table. But that works out really good. If you just have a few products and you'd love to get a table, but you really don't I don't want to get a whole table just for myself. I only have these 2 or 3 products. If you find some guys that are also doing OSR stuff, that's great. That works out awesome. Because
and
you
for
can
Rocky and I,
also
like all we have left at this point to sell are some Creep and Cold copies, and I think we're down to like less than 20 of each of those.
Damn.
So, and that was a print run of it was a weird number, 290 or something.
Yeah,
It was
275, something like that.
I'd have to check our accounting.
Pocket Jacks, get in touch with Gary.
Yeah, Gary's the guy to talk to on that. I actually don't handle that. Gary and I divide up our duties pretty well. He does anything that I can't do, and I do all the stuff he can't do, so it works out great.
Listen, Mike is the face. Okay, if this was the A team, Mike would be the face.
Mm-hmm.
I would
me and my pumpkin.
Yeah, I would probably be the disturbed person, but Mike is the
Gary's the number guy
of the A team. You made Mike face for real.
Yeah,
I know. I'm looking at myself. I'm thinking Mr. T. I mean, I know, but
no, you're not Mr. T. The build maybe, but not no. You couldn't.
Okay, so these four guys here. Okay, so we're the A team. So I guess Eric is gonna be George Rapard, right? He's the guy with the cigar.
Fuck no.
So who's Murdoch? Who's Murdoch? I guess Rocky's Murdoch. Rocky's gonna be Murdoch. Right?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I think you're Ian. Your face, man. You've got to be face. Look at that face on you.
So you're saying you're Mr. T?
Of course I am. Yes, I'm Mr. T. Yes.
Please,
he was the baddest. The baddest ass.
Oh my god!
There's no kid in the '80s didn't think that
you need a mohawk. You need a mohawk.
If you don't show up at North Texas to that convention with just like a massive amount of gold chains around your neck, I'm going to be super disappointed.
I can pull that off. I think I can pull it off easily. No, that's great.
I don't know about that, man. I really don't know.
No, I think it works out perfectly. Seriously, Rocky's got that crazy Murdoch stare, so I think that would work great for Rocky.
I'm not as crazy since I've had kids, but I still have my moments.
Oh, kids made you crazy. Come on, man. That's how it works.
Level of crazy. That's all. Yeah, you gotta put it on the side, allow it to simmer. There you go.
By the way, so mentioning family, it's great because when y'all came to North Texas last year, you brought your wives and your family. It was awesome because I mean I love you guys' wives. Your wives are great because it's like they kind of like just put up with you guys. It's like it's obvious that they're not like they're totally in on this. They're like, okay, we're in to an extent, but we're not fully in, So I just love their attitude, like they and Rocky, your wife kept me hydrated all Saturday, which is
I have
great.
A pretty great wife. When I had the cancer, you should have seen her. She would not get more than 6 steps away from me for like 6 months.
You should have seen her when I tried to take Rocky to a seafood restaurant.
Oh my god!
Oh. Well, she screamed at me all day, "Take a drink," when I was sick Saturday, and I need to hydrate. So I kind of got
super sick that day.
I was super sick. Yes.
So
she was no. I'm not going to leave Midnight Auction in other hands. Come on, man. Nobody can do that but me.
No. That is a pure Mike.
No, but Jim Kitchen did a great job with the regular auction. And by the way, Jim is ready to hopefully redo his role, to hopefully do it again this year. He's talking about flying in Friday and staying Saturday and Sunday. So we'll see what happens. But
he did an amazing job. Jim
did an amazing job. Yeah,
amazing job. I cannot stress that enough. It was highly.
So when you guys so your family comes, you guys have kids and everything. Do your kids like to play games, or do they like to do other things, or they kind of just we'll play a game, whatever? I mean, what's their attitude when they go to these conventions?
My kids will play games. Rocky's do too. I'll let him answer. But so like Gamehole Con, we got all of the kids. Like Rocky's oldest and my 2 kids were in Stefan Pokorny's first edition game.
They murdered the shit out of that.
Yeah, they did. Of half the players murdered by Stefan Pokorny, none of our children were in that group.
Oh, they're learning already. Yeah, they learned to stay away from the crazy Asian Italian guy. That's smart. Yes.
And Zoe, my youngest, loves like Car Wars and car battle games. So last time we were at a convention with them at Gamehole, I definitely put her in a Thunder Road game with like me and her, and then like a bunch of older dudes, and my wife, and it was I think a hard pill for some of those dudes when she came out of the gates and cleared 3 of them. Like
she needs to get into a Circus Crassus Maximus game. I think she'd like that too.
She would love that. She'd love the chariot racing too. Like she would be.
She would.
Really
you need to get her in there. She'd be fun. She'd be great in that. Now one of my favorite stories ever. Which daughter was the one that dropped the giant dice in her eyeball? That's the greatest story.
My oldest, Siobhan, the stone die. That poor kid.
That's a great story. Tell that story.
Shiner too. Yeah. So I think Bill had these like really big D6s. You give them around these like this
They're
huge
giant.
stone D6. Yeah. Like you could knock out a baby seal with the thing. And Siobhan was like, "Oh, I love this when I got home. Can I take it to bed?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like whatever. Take it to
what
bed."
could she do in bed that could hurt herself with the giant dice?
How old was she? How old?
She must have been maybe 5 or 6. Like she was pretty young. So yeah, about half an hour later, we hear this loud, dull thud, and she's crying. And she had been holding it above her head with her feet so she could like see the light reflecting off of it. And it slipped off of her feet and landed right on her eyeball. Poor kid.
And the funniest part is, so she had this shiner. It looked like Ian socked her in the face. I mean,
yeah,
I'm surprised,
it was like the whole side of her head.
I'm surprised the teacher didn't call CPS, and say, this girl's telling me this really fake ass story about how the dice fell off her foot, but I think her dad slugged her in the face because it looked terrible. It was so bad. But he had a picture of her on Facebook, and she just had this miserable look on her face with a big old shiner. And then like I said, the story just sounds so unbelievable. I was like, okay, yeah, whatever.
I'm pretty sure she hasn't touched that die since.
It's not her lucky dice at that point.
Oh, no.
Oh man.
Unless she doesn't beat her sister with it.
Damn it!
Yeah, the first thing I did when my parents went to Antigua or Montserrat or something when we were kids, and they brought back 2 swords. First thing they told us was don't fight with the swords. And literally 1 hour later, we're getting our ass beat because we pulled the swords out and started stabbing each other. So,
what else are you gonna do with the swords?
I mean, come on, they're swords. What are we gonna do with a sword except stab each other? So, yeah, kids don't listen when it comes to stuff like that.
No, they do not. I have 3 boys, and every stick in the yard is a sword. Nerf guns are a dangerous weapon around the house. It's just one catastrophe to the next, day in and day out with 3 boys.
Oh God.
Well, my mom had 3 boys, and there's a special place in heaven for those women.
Yes, there are
3 boys.
Yep. I don't know how my wife puts up with 3 boys and me, but she does
that's
somehow.
the part, right? The and me. It's like,
yeah,
I can handle my sons, but then you got to throw me into the mix, and then fuck.
Yeah, but you leave sometimes to go to convention for weeks. It's probably like, oh, thank you, God.
Yeah, I do. But the other half of that is I literally just moved a table into the dining room, separate from the dining room table, so that I could paint minis this week.
Oh, that's great.
She's not happy about it, but
no,
she hasn't tried to divorce me yet. So,
she put up your shit so long. I don't think she will.
No, I don't. After getting me through cancer, she's told me that if I'm leaving her, it's because she's killing me.
Oh, okay. She's not going to wait for the cancer.
No.
Stop herself. No.
Yep.
Well, how are things now in her hands? She's earned it. I got you.
Mm-hmm. I agree with her 100%. She has earned it.
Not to bring the room down or anything, but I mean, how are things going with the cancer? Are things
good?
Looking better?
Everything's great. Yeah. Like I said, I'm probably at about 75% health, but I'm cancer free. I did a 2.5 mile walk tonight. Like, I'm good.
You're not smoking on the side,
I have not had a cigarette since July 7th of 2020.
Wow.
That is great, man. Congratulations. Yeah, because we all know those guys that we all know. I had a neighbor that had emphysema that would basically be an oxygen mask, smoke. I'm like, dude, come on.
Yep. Yeah, the way that I actually quit was I went into the hospital for the cancer surgery, and I was in there for 6 days. And day number 4, they're like, "Hey, you were a smoker. Do you want a nicotine patch?" It's been 4 days. It's out of my system. Don't put it back in.
Yeah,
now,
no kidding.
Was my answer.
Oh,
so
boy.
I basically quit cold turkey while in the hospital from a surgery to remove part of my lung, but it worked. It worked, right. you know. So here I am now, 1.75 years later.
Well, that's great. Yeah, we didn't need to leave. We lost too many people in the last few years. So
we have,
good.
and I'm glad I'm not on that list yet. And there's a bunch of people that I do miss that are gone.
Yeah, no, it's been. I it's not that I joke about it, but I do say that the people that I lost and my own near fucking expiration had nothing to do with COVID in the last 2 years. During COVID, it wasn't COVID that was the issue. It was the heart failure. It was cancers. It's liver failure, strokes. I mean, these are things that took people out. The people that I care about, or nearly took out the people that I care about.
Yep.
And it's like, and again, that's not saying that COVID wasn't horrible. I went through COVID at the beginning of this year. Thank God I was immunized. I will say that. But the people that I personally know that I've lost in the last 2 years, and it's been sizable, or people that have had health challenges and it's been sizable, had nothing to do with COVID, and it's been more than usual. Everybody that's in this chat, everybody's on the screen's got at least 45, 50, 55, 60 years behind them. We've all experienced loss or illnesses in our family and our friends and our circles. Last 2 years has been one hell of a.
It has been one hell of a ride.
Yes. So
it's funny because Eric is. I mean, to me, he's so healthy now. I almost forget every time I talk to him how just absolutely bad shape he was in 2020 after Totalcom. Horrible shape.
Go back 2 years, and I was the Pillsbury Doughboy as I was putting on 60 pounds of water weight. And I went through my congestive heart failure. And I still have to have, I got to go back in 2 weeks, 2 days to have one of my stents looked at under an angiogram and make sure it doesn't have to get adjusted or replaced. But other than that, my heart, my body, because I've changed my habits. And then not to get into a Gamer's Health episode, if you want that, you come on and Saturday night, I'll bore the fucking hell out of you with my wife. But you have to look at Rocky. Rocky hasn't smoked in 2 years, right?
Give or take, yeah.
Give or take, but 2 years. That you have to make these decisions to improve your life. You sometimes you have to look over the precipice. I mean, that's what I told my wife. I told my doctor. I looked over the edge, and I said, "Holy shit, this could be the end of me. What do I have? What do I have to do to correct that?" And you can walk up to that without actually being pushed over the edge and go, "Ha, that ain't me. I'm immortal. Fuck that shit. I don't have to worry about it." And then you look at it and you go, "Oh shit! Did I actually send an email to my wife that I forgot to untime her? That I forgot to rescind and cancel that she read when I did not die on the operating table? Yes, I did. So I don't plan on being put into that situation again. So I have to change my life around it, and it's really what it comes down to. I mean, everybody that you look on the screen are very important people to me. I've known the two miscreants below me for a number of years, and they are extremely good people that I want to be as in part of my circle and part of my life.
Slow down.
No, wait. Bad Mike on this side is we joke
definitely
around.
Slow down.
We joke around and we call Mike my work spouse because you see us once or twice a week, twice this week. God help you. But Mike and I convert. Rach will be like, who are you PMing on Facebook? Is it Mike? I'm like, yeah. Oh, tell Mike I said hello. I'm like, no, I won't. Because he knows you already. So fuck it. But I mean, we have seen so many losses in our community. We don't want to see any more. And I'll be damned if I'm going to be part of the losses before my time. So
it's all part of it. It's just the fact. Look, our hobby's getting older. I mean, I think it's funny because Eric, every once in a while, Eric will show me the audience we have, and talking credit. It's like, oh my god, it's
fest,
it's
a handful of women that watch, but it's a sausage.
Apologize to Kim George. There's like 3 women that watch our show, but it's all
and your wife. I know.
it's all women, like it's all dudes 50 to 60 years old. And when you get to that age, yeah, you're going to have health issues. And not only that, when you're gamers have their own specific kind of health issues. I mean, I look, we've all been to conventions. We know exactly what I'm talking about. You've seen the tables full of guys that, most of them are overweight. They don't look good. Most of them don't look good.
They're in pajamas.
Or they're like Bill, and they're wearing their pajamas to a game because I don't know or they're drinking too much. But no, they're just our hobby breeds unhealthiness, and a lot of it's sitting around the table all day.
So. It's not moving, so it's easy to get that high blood pressure. It's easy to get that extra weight on you, and then it's hard to get it off. Mm-hmm. COVID put 40 to 50 pounds on me, and
oh my God,
I'm just now starting to work on getting it off again. So slowly but surely.
Yeah.
It's what not everybody can be Ian. All right. I mean, you look at Ian.
Look at that.
Well, he's a leprechaun. He's not human. So.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah. Quarantine was my best life. I was like, I liked it.
I figured. Yeah. Lucky Charms every day. Yeah, I know. I know how you live that life.
They're delicious.
So you did I was going to say, I forgot to ask you this earlier. So you did the cartography for Red Wizards, right? So
I did a lot of the interiors and stuff. So there's like a Black Ops site in there with a bunch of torture devices that I did, and then I did like a big mansion for him too. So
now how did this work out? Did he just call you up? Did Alex call you up one day and say we need you, or did you actually meet? Did you get to meet Ed Greenwood? I mean, was this just all over the phone and over the?
Yeah, Ed flew me to his private island.
See there, that's what we need here. All right,
wait, let's hear it.
I had to wrestle a Kodiak bear to prove my worth, and that
this is all right. This is a story I wanted to hear. Yeah,
Alex just messaged me and said he needed some maps and that he was on a time crunch, so I helped him out. So
he didn't fly you into the game hole or anything. God, that guy's cheap.
I don't know.
He's cheap as fuck.
I guess I'd consider him a friend. Like we're friendly and stuff. So for me, for the most part, if you're my friend and you need a hand, I'll always help you out. So
right. Yeah, but he's cheap though. He's cheap as fuck. I mean, come on. He could have sprung for your weekend there. He's got that lake house, dude.
And he won't even make me a special guest at Game Home Con. I don't know what the problem is. Rocky and I have actually met at Greenwood that was
fun. Yep.
Yeah,
a local convention here in Grand Rapids. We met him in
man, I feel
14 or so.
He used to come to Game Hall all the time, and I talked to him in the lobby once, and then after that he disappeared off the special guest for reasons.
I don't like to talk to you in the lobby either. If I'm seen talking to you in the lobby, I'm not going the following year. That's just not happening.
Come on, man. No, he was a regular guest at Game Hall, and then things happened that I won't get into, and now he's not a guest anymore. But I kept thinking I'd see him. I'm going to get him to sign someday when I get to see him, because he doesn't do a lot of conventions that aren't real close to where he lives up by Canada. So I know Doug asked him a few times to come to DFW. It's just absolutely out of the question. It's just too far away from his house for him, so he won't come. But yeah, it sucks now that I don't think he's making a lot of conventions anymore. So, but he's one of the guys. I mean, I could the guys that are in D&D, like Gary Guy. There's Gary Gygax. There's a few other guys. I think he's probably one of the most creative guys in our hobby ever.
Absolutely,
he's surely the most prolific.
Yeah, right.
Produced like tens and tens
billions of words.
Yeah.
And he's apparently like a machine too. Like he just can dump, a 20,000 word thing on you, and and what would take the rest of us a lot more time.
Well, yeah, it's too bad. He, like I said, doesn't go to Game Hall very much anymore, because that was the one place I met him in the lobby, talked to him for a while, and then I just never got back to. I was like, he'll be here every year or whatever, and that was it. So that's why I like to talk to the guys when
Yeah, when you get those good special guests like that, if you're in one of those conventions where you get to see somebody like Ed Greenwood or Errol Otis or any of those old guard guys, take the time now to talk to them. They might not be there next year.
Definitely.
The four of us that are sitting here, we get that opportunity regularly because we travel to a lot of the conventions, and Mike, you run one. But the people that are watching might not. You know, you go to Gen Con and my one time meeting Gary Gygax was at Gen Con, and I met him in August, and then he died in March.
Wow.
Right? Like
pretty much that's the same with me. Yeah.
That's it. And same thing with Arneson. I met him the same year, and he died. What, June of the next year, May of the next year, whatever that was.
Wait, so every time you meet one of these people, they die?
No, just those two.
Whoa, wait.
Dude, you're fucked up, man. I'm don't. You know what?
Yeah.
Hey,
Let me shake your hand.
I'll say hello from a. I don't.
COVID had such a weird effect on our hobby because, I always look at our con now. North Texas is pre-con and post-con because pre-con is just one thing, and then post-con's been different because, for instance, we had Steve Perrin. The last time we saw Steve Perrin was 2019.
Yeah,
he really wanted to come in 2020, and that's when Doug and I urged people not to come because COVID was just starting out, and so
it was huge.
He wanted to come so bad, and we just said, no, just stay at home, and that's when we probably had about 100 people that year because we just had local people, and then last year he was ready to come. And his wife got sick. His wife got really sick. So like, I can't come because my wife got sick. And then Steve passes in August, So, it was just, he just died really unexpectedly, just didn't wake up one day. So that just sucks. Cause then you're looking back like, well, the last time I saw him was 2019 because he couldn't come. And, like Errol Otis, I really, really want Errol Otis to come this year.
Yeah.
I've talked to him. I couldn't work it. Yeah. We're going to make another shot at him later on after Gary Con, but I talked to him.
He's a better deal.
No, we didn't even offer him a deal. He gets the best deal of any of our guests. He gets the best deal. He gets the best deal of our guests. But yeah, I talked to him, and he was going to Gary Con, and he honestly wasn't that excited about Gary Con. He's like, oh man, the flights. I hate flying because I hate flying too. I was like, yeah, I know where you're coming from. He goes, I just don't know if I want to take another flight this year, this and that. So I'm going to try to hit him up after Gary Con. But then I start looking back. The last time he came, it was 2018 because he didn't come in 2019. He didn't come in 2020. He didn't come in 2021. So yeah, so now I'm looking there going, shoot, it's been 4 years since you've come here.
And I think 19, he had a close friend pass away or something.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and so
it was
couldn't make it, and so so it's I'm starting to think that I really want to have these guys while I can, because you just don't know, and a lot of them have health issues. Obviously we can't have Jim Ward at the con anymore just because he can't travel at all.
Yeah, he can't travel.
So, but and a lot of guys are going to end up being like that pretty quick. Pretty soon. Yep. A lot of these guys that, God forbid, some of the guys we know, but they're going to be where they just can't travel. So we want to have as many of them as we can. Now that's something Doug and I had always said is that, we want to have younger guests at the con, but we also want to have these older guys because they have a very limited time to be able to be at cons. So,
yep. Yeah, they do.
I don't think the average convention attendee understands that. Especially if you're going to a Game Hall of Gary Con where, listen, you're lucky if you see I don't know, Sabine Phoenix or Ernie with their entourage, and you're like, oh, that's Ernie, and you can't approach because there's already 20 people circling ion stones around them.
Ernie's not going to Gary Con.
Not this year, but in the past. In the past, goddamn.
Really? Not. So when did this happen? I never heard. Tell me this story, and I don't know what this is about.
Tell Uncle Tenkar the story.
Explain why Ernie's not coming. I don't know. I didn't know this. No.
But
I think he's due to appear in court, actually.
Oh, geez. Ow. Listen.
Wow.
Ernie himself. Listen, we'll go off topic a little bit. I've seen the actual notices that were served, and they were served at the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum to Justin and Justin's address in North Carolina. Now, what is interesting, not to get too far off our current topic, is
let's go. Let's do it.
The Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum is not owned by the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum LLC. Ian, would you like to guess who or what entity owns the Dungeon Hobby Shop Museum property?
I own it.
No.
Do I?
No, not yet.
That would be great. That would have been awesome.
I
wish you did.
I have not.
What was her name? It's like Yvonne or somebody.
Let's just say we may own it in a few months.
But it's actually owned directly by Justin Lanassa. So when you look at why did Wizards of the Coast actually file against Justin? Because there are a lot of aspects where Justin did not separate himself from the LLCs that he was operating. It's like, well, I own the building, but I'm
weird.
going to license the building to an LLC that I'm the sole proprietor of.
He's such a kick-ass businessman. I can't believe he would make a mistake like that. He's such such an awesome businessman. That's weird. That make a mistake like that.
Man, I wish I had a team of lawyers I could sick on Mike.
Oh, me? Okay, yeah. I may be judgment. I may be judgment proof. I don't know a lot. That, as a matter of fact, when I had a personal bankruptcy about 25 years ago, and my lawyer said, "Well, there's one good thing about this. You're judgment proof." I go, "What's judgment proof mean?" She goes, "Well, you don't own anything. There's nothing anybody wants out of you." It's like, that's kind of awesome. I like that. I know my car. I know my house.
I know the value of your RPGs. You son of a bitch.
But the court didn't know. They did. They were just
listed
under
we'll
games.
Call it a wash for all this
under
stuff.
Games. Yeah.
Listen, I only own 2 white boxes, and they're both OCE.
I just said you just have to declare what you own. A little fact for if you ever declare bankruptcy, you only have to declare market value of what you paid for your stuff. You don't declare if you have a ghost tower in Vernus that's worth $10,000, you only have to declare the $200 you spent on it, because the amount that it might be worth is speculative. So,
what if I bought it for $8 at retail back in the day?
Then that's what you declare on there.
You put that's what's worth. Him, maybe the court will only value it at $10, so we'll get all of his stuff.
Whoa! I don't like the way this conversation just rolled.
Yeah. Sorry, Ian. You're way too intellectual for this conversation. Yeah. We might have to put you on a timeout.
He's not respectful. He's got to be more respectful of his elders here. I don't like the way this is going at all.
Listen, I've bombed you enough insulin that I own you at this point.
He has too. I'm terrible when I travel. I don't bring enough insulin. I run out of insulin. Is that stupid?
I don't even understand
run out of
insulin.
Happens. Yep.
How much do I need? 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months?
Oh, it's like a drug dealer. I always go. I go up to Ian. I go, Ian, I'm out of insulin, man. He's
always embarrassed too. Pulls me aside.
Well, he should be. That's life and death. Don't forget your medicine.
I can give you insulin, but I'm not going to give you a clean syringe tip or something like that.
Although I shouldn't say much because I never bring an EpiPen with me when I travel.
Oh, yeah. See, listen, the best. I got to say, the best thing that happened to me with my recent health was before hospitalization 2 years ago. I was like, oh. Well, what's type 2 diabetes? Then it was like, oh shit, you're on insulin. 2 types. And then it was like, all right, you're off insulin, you're on Jardiance. I'm like, that I can handle a pill a day. I don't like the 4 shots plus 1 on a daily basis. I
love it. It's the best part of my life.
It's like,
you're gonna love this, Ian. For everybody else, just have to hang in there with Ian and I talk about diseases. I'm going to see the endocrinologist Friday, and they're going to set me up with the Steve Getty rig with all the
nice
things. And yeah, I'm all excited about that. So, because I've been having terrible sugars lately. So it sticks in there. It regulates your sugar. If your sugar is too high, it zaps you with some insulin. If it gets too low, it gives you a little beep and tells you, hey, I'm getting too low, need a little sugar. So it's going to be great. So I'm going to get fitted for one of those Friday. So I'm kind of excited about that, to get my insulin all under control.
I like my continuous glucose monitor. I gotta say that is.
Hey, you gotta do that before you lose a foot or something, man.
Yeah, I know. Really,
I love the glucose. I have the Dexcom G6, and that thing is. I love. It talks to my phone. I just know what my blood sugar is.
Yeah. I have the Libra too. The only problem is like there's usually 2 alerts, and one is the high glucose, and the other one is lost connection. And my wife can't tell the difference between the two. So it'll go off. She's like, check your blood sugar. I'm like, yeah, that's the lost connection beep. She's like, what? I go, I've been away from my phone too long. It's lost connection beep. Right, I got it. Okay. I thought it was a high blood sugar. Like, it's okay. We're good.
Is that you saying American? Mike just blew any insurance sponsor you might have had. Aetna was like right on the edge too.
Yeah, well, fuck them. I'm gonna get on my soapbox here. If we were able to get free, if the government was able to give us free shots for COVID, there is no reason why we should not have free insulin and free blood pressure medicine. I'm absolutely serious. That
Oh, yeah.
more people die of diabetes and high blood pressure than ever even thought of dying of COVID. Yeah, we don't give free blood pressure medications and we don't give free insulin. That's bullshit.
Universal
Absolute fucking
healthcare is
bullshit.
a discussion that we could have forever.
Yeah,
Forever.
you're not going to end it. I mean, I am on a number of medications that if it wasn't for the insurance I have through my union, I might be retired, still covered by the union. Jardians would be off the charts without that, but because it's on the charts and union covers, it's $35 every 3 months. Entresto, which with my union coverage is still $600 plus every 3 months, but if you get the Entresto extra coverage for free through the manufacturer, then it suddenly becomes somewhere between 10 and 35. The same thing with Brilinta. Pay $600 after coverage, or maybe you're lucky and you get the extra coverage through the manufacturer. But if you have no coverage, you're fucked. I mean, that's
insulin, and you can tell you this: insulin is a crime. It's absolute fucking crime. I mean, a bottle of Humalog insulin, the good stuff, it's something. I mean, without insurance, something like $135 a bottle, which is ridiculous. I mean, you could buy it you could buy Humalin or whatever it is at Walmart for like $20, something like that. But it's ridiculous. It shouldn't be that expensive.
And 35.
Those are also like 30-year-old insulin analogs too. That if you look at the science of insulin and what like some of the recombinant RDNA stuff that they like done is nowhere astounding, and that's not the cheap shit.
No, it's nowhere near as good as the stuff you get through the doctor. Very real story. My wife's going to retire 5 years before I am, which means we won't get her insurance anymore. Means that I may have to move to, a lower quality insulin just to get by that 5 years until I go to Medicare. I mean, it sucks, but I may have to do that depending on the insurance we get, because that's how expensive insulin is, and it shouldn't be that expensive. It's made in a lab. It shouldn't be that expensive at all. It's not hard.
Warehouse. Just start growing insulin in that warehouse.
Like in a tube, like a clone. You want to get like a clone, like a
setup. So you can set you up a couple $1,000 to get you set up in there growing insulin.
Growing insulin like a tree. I mean, come on, little bottles hang off the tree,
like a lab, like a vat.
Couple of mice, you milk them. Yeah,
you milk the mice.
No, I thought that's how you got your insulin. You got some mice.
No.
This is running dangerously close to an MCC adventure at this point.
Or this is Lamentations. This is Lamentations. I think this is the new Lamentations.
They give insulin.
James Raggy, we got an adventure coming this way. We're gonna Raggy adventure for Lamentations.
No. Maybe a Skeeter adventure if we go the right way, man.
Oh, that's right. That could be a Skeeter adventure too. Have either of you guys seen Skeeter's Call of Cthulhu adventure that he's running at GaryCon?
We played it.
Oh, you have? So what'd you think?
I haven't played it. When did you play it?
Didn't you?
No, I got to read it, but I didn't get to play it.
So did he wuss out?
Was in that? I thought Rocky was there, but Rocky wasn't there. I was clearly failed my sanity check. It was good. I think you were invited that night. It was pretty scary. It had some.
Oh, good.
And it was well themed and
it's Skeeter, so it's definitely like even reading it, like there's some creepy vibes to it.
Creeps you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good Cthulhu adventure. There's a way to win. There's a bunch of unexpected stuff. Like the creepy stuff that happens is well timed and like horror themed planned. It's a good adventure for sure.
Good. I didn't want him to wuss out. Honestly, I didn't know if he if he took it easy or whatever, because
people were in rough shape by the end of the playtest that I was in. Like it was.
I mean, Skeeter's a creepy guy. He's a creepy guy. I mean, he really is. He's one of those guys you're sitting there and you're with, and you just don't know if he's just gonna one day he's gonna blow up, right? And we all be dead. Like he'll invite us in a room to play a game, but there's really no game, and there's really just a claw hammer in his in his backpack, and then we're like, oh, we're fucked, So yeah, I mean, you don't know. So yeah, that he's the perfect guy to be writing that kind of stuff, I think.
All right, so John Miller, this is interesting. There's a fine line between DCC weird Gonzo fantasy and Lamentation weird fantasy horror. a difference in tone. I don't. I'm going to say that the DCC, yes, certainly leans toward a bit more of the Gonzo.
That's
And
because the system is swingier though. Like it's
Yeah.
just by the very nature of the system, it like makes it create DCC artificially creates higher highs and lower lows, just because of the system. Like Lamentations is a little more, it's less swingy, it's a little more standard. It's Lamentations is swords and wizardry with some dark stuff, in my opinion. Like it's really not much different than any of the OS clones.
Yeah.
I think that's why so many of the adventures are either really great and usable or really good reading and totally unusable.
You mean Lamentations or DCC? Yeah.
Stuff. DCC stuff. I can run DCC stuff with swords and wizardry, and I can convert it on the fly. I've done it. It is fun as fucking hell.
Yeah, DCC is generally pretty playable, I think.
Yeah, but I
think the problem with Lamentations is you get, and we've talked about this before, Eric, is you get the, I don't know what you call it, the raggy effect, where, well, I got to take this up to 11 because 10's not quite enough, and then you just get it's just over the top. Like, and look, real life is horrible enough. You don't have to, and most of the Lamentation stuff is set in what 16th, 17th century. I mean, life was pretty freaking miserable then. There was some horrible stuff that happened. You don't have to play it up that much, but I think sometimes
it's like the shock jocking of RPG writing. Like it's sort of their shtick at this point. I don't know how they veer away from it.
No, I agree, and that seems
and and there's a couple, not to stray too far, but there's a couple levels of shock jockery. There's shock jockery with the content, or there's the shock jockery with the social media.
Yeah,
which and listen, I used to love shock jockery in the early aughts. I used to love my certain radio stations in New York City that had shock jocks. I worked with cops that put whip them out Wednesday on the side of the van, the marked police van, hoping that women in the South Bronx would show them their boobies. Not smart people, but certainly were people that passed the civil service exam at some point. But that was a different era. Now we are 20 years past that, and times change. And even what I consider to have been, I can go back and listen to like Howard or Opie and Anthony from 20 years ago, and I go, I listened to this shit. I mean, I did. I enjoyed it, but times change. Sometimes people don't see how times have changed when they still try to. I mean, I don't even know. Listen, I like James Raggi on a personal level, and I think he's done some amazing work, especially his initial work and his. The quality of the physical products he puts out is second to none. But I don't know if that same type of product is going to get the same type of business it got 10, 15 years ago. It's just times change.
Or you guys could think of your own Lamentation stuff and just pitch it. You never know. I bet y'all could figure out something that would be awesome.
We, speaking of that weird fantasy horror, we tried Mort Borg for the first time at TotalCon, and we've kind of leaned into that a little bit because that game's actually really fun.
That game's a blast. That was not my first time playing. It was like
my first time, and it was.
It's great. I already have like our second issue of Fantastic Geographic will for sure have a Mort Borg adventure in it.
So what's the difference between a Mort Borg adventure and a regular adventure? A regular, like say a BX adventure.
So you want to jump on that?
I'll say a little bit. Mort Borg is days from the end of the world. That's their whole setting. Is there's a prophecy of like 31 things, and then when all those happen, the world ends. So everybody knows that the world is dying, and so it's super grimdark and
limited setting setting too. It's like an island,
right? And the biggest mechanical difference is, to me, that I noticed was monsters always hit you. So like monsters aren't rolling to attack, and that really notched that paranoia and that terror level up quite a bit, just because if the monster looks at you, guess what? Here it comes.
Yeah, the players always rolling in it, so it's against a target difficulty number. Usually they're 12, sometimes bumped up to 14 or higher if it's super difficult. and you roll to like you get to roll your armor to reduce damage, kind of stuff. Everybody's super fragile. There's not really levels to speak of. Almost anybody who can get a hold of the spell scroll can cast that scroll over and over. You can cast it as many times as you have like power points. But super simple system. Like we could show you guys in 5 minutes. You'd be like, "Oh, this makes sense."
Can you run campaign play with it, or is it mostly just one shot type stuff?
I think you could run a campaign with it. I think it would be tough, and you'd still churn through a lot of characters.
Yep, you would absolutely churn through a lot of characters, but
it's an awesome.
I think a
quick
campaign would be very fun in that system.
Yeah.
You
need people to commit. You'd have to do like
it would feel very
a ship or something. And...
Yeah, it would be very very early OE. It would be those Greyhawk Dungeon adventures where every session you've got a new character because somebody died.
At least
we've got some Mork board coming for North Texas. We had a few people there. I think Levi's running a Mork board game. And I think I saw a couple other there too. So it's
one of them's mine. One of them will be a playtest of the one that will be in our.
Oh, okay, great.
So that's the.
I love to see the new stuff. I love to see the OSE stuff is popping up on North Texas, which I'm really really interested in OSE. I just
it's OSE's BX. Like you could play BX, you'd step into OSE like without any slowdown at all. No speed bumps.
Well, BX is my favorite con game, so I went ahead on the new Kickstarter for OSE, and I bought everything. I bought the all the stuff coming out plus all the old stuff that already came out. So I bought the whole package because I think I'm gonna be Frog God's OSE expert the next year. So I'm gonna get everything and just figure out how to do it because I know Frog God we want to start doing more. We're not gonna just do Swords and Wizardry anymore. We're doing all kind of old school OSR stuff, and we may end up doing some OSE. So
and we talk about that a lot too. Like how do we make a stat block that would work for like a bunch of systems? So something like the scene, like so as many people as possible can play that. Like I know we can convert something if we want to, but do we want to? Like do we want to get
a lot of times
as quick as possible?
Zach and I have talked about this a lot, especially with Frog God, is that at a certain point, as long as you're not describing a spell, you can have a magic user say this magic user has sleep, magic missile, blah, blah, blah. And whatever system the person's using, they translate that system.
Yeah.
Likewise with monsters. You just say, okay, as you kick in the door, inside the room, there's a Minotaur, and he's got, 6 goblin followers. You just don't put any stats there because you just, okay, a Minotaur, well, I'm using OSE, I'm using Swords and Wizardry, I'm using, Labyrinth Lord. You just use the stats there. And I think it works pretty good. There's the only time I think it really comes into when you would have a problem is actual character classes, especially if you're using, kind of an oddball character class, because some of the systems don't have that character class.
Yep.
As long as you stick to fighter, cleric, thief, the basic classes, paladin, I think you're okay. It's when you get kind of off in the weeds, it becomes a little different. So, but yeah, I think that works really good. You can, I think what's funny about OSE is that we had OSE type games for a long time. I mean, obviously, Labyrinth Lord is a big one, but there's a lot of games based off of BX. The reason that one caught fire, I mean, to me at least, is just presentation. They had such a
they've done a great job.
It's very well. I mean, so I was jumped in on the very first Kickstarter. That's well organized. Like it's easy to play. Like the DM's rules are all in the digest size book. Like all the players stuff is like. It's nice. It's a nice book, and it's a pretty book too. He has great art.
Yeah,
and it's high quality, like a nice printing. At least the one that I got.
Yeah, definitely.
I hadn't even looked at their Kickstarter the last couple of days to see what it's at, but I'm sure it's something ridiculous.
They're like, he's probably like $300,000, something like that.
Yeah, and that's nuts because, like I said, it's basically just an OSE clone, and we've had OSE clones.
It's super cool to see a Beckme clone like totally making it. That's like, hopefully he'll get up to Immortals, and we'll have.
I'm not hopeful of that. I would rather not because I never really.
Immortals is so hard.
He started the arc. He's got to finish.
At
least Masters. Come on.
No, man. Come on.
Masters would be good. Masters
is a great set.
Yeah, it was.
Masters. I can live with Masters, but Immortals. No, I mean I don't.
Well, Immortals changed the rule set so significantly that it was difficult to get into, especially like I was like 12 when it came out.
Yeah,
I played it when I was like 14, and I was like, all right, I kind of get this. And then Wizards of the Coast released a book, and I don't remember the name of it, and it was a book that we incorporated into it. And basically it was in order to have your immortal powers, you had to have people worshiping you, and it just got super weird, and I've never gone back.
Yeah, it looks like the OSC Kickstarter
today. Oh.
Right. I have one character that I made to immortal level. I will still occasionally like make a version of her to play, but otherwise I'm done with the immortals forever.
Well, it looks like I'm looking here. The OSC ended at about almost $300,000, $291,000. The cool thing about that is I like it because it shows there are a lot of people out there that want to play old school games, which I think is great. Because I think for a long time, Wizards of the Coast, probably right, when they took over, I think they thought old school was just, whatever, because they just had third edition, and they didn't really do anything for the old schoolers. Like, you either jump on board or just get out of here. We don't really care about you. And it wasn't until fourth edition pretty much failed that they came out with the reprint books and said, hey, okay, so we're going to be a little nicer to you old school guys.
They said, hey, will all you guys cut up your books and scan them for us so we can
could
resell
you please
them?
yeah, that's right. Can we
donate
your
books, I can cut them off, and you'll get our goodwill. Like maybe
cut those up and scan them. And we'll send you a PDF reprint.
Could you send us an orange B3 so we could cut it?
I sort of expected this though at this point with 5e, like we're ready for it. So people you're starting to see some rules bloat with 5e, right? Lots of new character classes, lots of new powers, lots of new lots. And I think people are like, whoa, like they liked maybe that simpler initial 5e, and that's what you get with the OSE systems. It's fast. You don't have to invest a crazy amount of time to get playing. It's a fun game.
Yeah, I mean, my experience running like even Swords and Wizardry for 5e players, and I've done that inadvertently once when the 5e GM got snowed out at GaryCon, and I did that at my last TotalCon when I had a group. 7 out of 8 players were a home group that played 5e and wanted to experience old school gaming. Is that once the majority of the players bought into the idea that there's not a skill or a feat for everything, the majority bought into the, oh my God, I can just ask, can I do this? And then you'll tell me what I need to do this. I'm not stuck within what's on my sheet. I can actually go beyond it. There's a huge buy-in to that for some people. Some people are they need it on their sheet. It's kind of like if you grew up playing computer RPGs.
Yeah, the biggest I noticed that there's a big disconnect there. There's either people that need everything spelled out for them on their sheet, and then there are the people that once they've got everything spelled out on their sheet, they want to understand how to do it without that. And it seems like more and more are in that second group where they are just starting to join the OSR and the OSE and all of our old school games. And like, I'm glad to have them. Fifth edition really is an old school game with a bunch of extra stuff bolted on. You boil it back down to its basics, and you've got Ascending AC, second edition, basically.
I'd like to apologize. I as usual, I fucked something up. I was looking at an old. I was looking at an old bookmark.
I saw you looking at it. They're talking to Amber Diceless too.
Old School Essentials. The Kickstarter's up to $650,000.
Oh
wow! With 2 weeks to go, it still has 2 weeks to go. So
it could hit $1 million. It could hit, and if it does hit $1 million, I'm going to say it here. I'm going to say here right now, it's going to tell a lot of old school publishers that there is.
So we'll have an OSE adventure in our next issue of.
There you go. Right?
I would say, come on.
That there is certainly an audience out there for this. You just have to find them.
Silver Bulette is announcing right now they're switching to Mork Borg and OSE.
Yeah,
straight Mork Borg OSE. And Amber Diceless, because that guy wants some.
Yeah, why not?
My Amber Diceless experience, I think, was limited to about a month of online play, probably 15 years ago. And I don't even remember what the fuck happened with it because it just kind of petered and died. Not a bad system, but it really takes a very strong GM to run. And
it's really how good bullshitters are your players. If your players are really good bullshitters, the game's going to move. If they're timid, it's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I could probably work with my current group with like Tim Schwartz, Matt Jackson, Greg Christopher, Rob Conley. I could see that working, but then again, if I was a DM, I'd be like, "Fuck this shit! I got asshole players, and I can't deal with this shit."
Shadow and Son's asking us if we've read Zelazny. Of course we have.
Well, of course.
How dare you, sir?
But I read it from the Book of the Month Club, the Fantasy Book of the Month Club. When you got your 5 books for $1, and you got that huge hardcover.
Yeah, you got the whole Amber series. Yeah,
you got the whole Amber series, and then you read it, and then you dropped it into the tub, and you never read it again.
Well, that sounds like TMI there, but
I
liked it.
I didn't mean to drop it in the tub, but I was reading it in the tub, and I fell asleep in the last.
I'm good.
I never finished the last book because I fell asleep, and then the book went, and then I.
Zelazny's a great writer that a lot of people don't talk about anymore, but he had some great stuff. And yeah, that was funny because that you said that Science Fiction Book of the Month Club. I think that's where every person in the 70s read their Zelazny from, was those Amber hardbacks that came out.
Was it one of those things where you had to you paid $10 and then you got the one book, but you get to pick 15 other books
there you go.
Right, pretty much.
Yeah. And then you had to buy them for a year or something.
Yeah. Well, you didn't. But if you didn't send the thing back quick enough,
you get it.
With your 4-day turnaround, and if somehow you didn't send it back right away, all of a sudden you got 2 books that you went. Oh wait, why am I reading about the Shadow Emperor? What the fuck is this shit? I don't care about this.
Big Columbia House fan over here.
Oh God, yeah.
Did you ever do the thing where you sign up every person in your family so you get all the free? Because it was like 1 cent, you got 18 CDs free, so you sign up everybody in your family, and you end up with 65 CDs. Then you're like, oh, I don't want. There's nothing else here I want though. Oh shit! Didn't
I ask you for an AOL CD or something a couple years ago, Mike?
I might have
one of those. Yeah, I was one of these is a prop for a game.
I probably have one sitting in a. I know at one point I did have a shoebox full of them just for fun.
I can sign up for a month.
Maybe it is. You get 600 hours free, except that the whole thing's free now. So I don't know what you do with the 600 hours free, but hey, what the hell? You guys, people don't understand.
Internet.
They don't know the struggle, man. Getting online in 92, you had to pick your spots. I'm serious because it was so fucking expensive. You couldn't just stay on all day. You had to say, okay, I'm going to get on. I'm going to go straight to the TSR AOL site. Then I'm going to go straight here. You had to do everything really quick because you didn't play Neverwinter hour.
Oh, listen.
Yeah, Neverwinter Nights was on there, and you had to be careful.
You got fucked on that one. The secret to everything but Neverwinter Nights was to go to the Members Helping Members area. That was a free area. And then you had to pop out and pop in. And after the 4th or 5th pop out, you would see your counter would not go on again. And you would still be in the free area and then could go anywhere except for the Neverwinter Nights. We're going to charge you an arm and a leg. So
that was a beating. That was a beating. I remember the first time I stayed up all night playing Neverwinter Nights. And I thought, I'll wait and see how much it costs when I get the bill, and I'll see if I could never. No, I was like, holy shit, it's like $80 or something. But I was like, I guess I'm not doing that ever again. So screw that. But you got to where you'd log on, you download all your email, you'd log off, read all your email, answer all your email, log on, send your email, then log. I mean, it was ridiculous. And then now kids nowadays don't know. They're online all the time. They don't realize the struggle, man. The shit we had to put up with.
Never off anymore.
No, we had to.
When AOL went from 5 hours to 20 hours a month, I was like, oh my God, I don't have to try to scan the system anymore.
By the way, thank Prodigy. So most people don't know, and because I actually had a Prodigy account back then too. Prodigy was the one that the first company gave you unlimited hours, and then everybody had to follow suit. Yep, Prodigy. I actually tried to get my old Prodigy account up a few years ago. I was like, oh, that'd be funny to send somebody an email from a Prodigy account, and it doesn't exist anymore. But I thought that would be hilarious, just because everybody laughs at me because I still have my original AOL.
I mean, that means the URL's probably available. You could pick it up.
Maybe, I don't know. Whenever I send an email, oh, you still use AOL? It's like, not. I don't just use AOL. That's my original AOL address I used back in '92. It's the same.
So I just called you out for definitely owning a Betamax, Mike. I bet Mike had a van.
No, actually, I actually didn't have a Beta.
He got cheap and was trying to sell.
I actually did not have Beta. And so I guess you guys know this. Beta is a superior technology, but VHS prevailed in the war. So Beta was way the superior technology. But Beta
and you went straight to Laserdisc.
No, I had Laserdisc. I never had a Beta.
Laserdiscs are nice. It's really sad because if you look at the record of our history when it comes to online stuff or computer stuff, sometimes the shittiest technology prevails over the better technologies because that's the same thing. Laserdiscs were great. I mean, they're nice, but it's a clumsy technology though. It's clumsy. Whereas shitty VHS tapes, just Blockbuster could just fit them. However many on the wall, it was great. The same thing with online music. I mean, it was funny because I played my grandson. He never heard an actual like a record on a record player. Never in his whole life.
They're back now though. They're everywhere.
And the sound quality is so superior. Good. Oh my god! Because the whole thing about when you have an online when you have a online piece of music, it's parts of it are taken out to squeeze it tighter and tighter to make it smaller, and you don't realize those parts are missing until you actually hear like I have some Zeppelin records. I was playing my grandson's Zeppelin record. He's probably heard Kashmir 100 times. Well, I've heard it like couple thousand times, but half the time I've heard it's been on an enhanced recording. So he's never heard the original recording. He couldn't believe all the sound, like the extra sound that was there, and just the depth of recording, how deep it is, how he just like, oh, this is so great. I'm like, well, the thing is, the technology that basically triumphed was the shittier technology, which was just to take parts out of music and just squeeze
MP3s are awful.
They're terrible, horrible sound quality. But that's all kids know. That's all kids have ever listened to is MP3s. So that's all they really know.
Ty Beard and Zach Glazer both say VHS won Sony because Sony wouldn't let porn producers use Betamax format.
I believe that's true.
And it's probably true. Now, in '86, late '86, I got a job at Stern's Department Store in Flushing, New York, selling electronics as a part-time job in college. And we had Beta and VHS, and the Beta were by Sony, and they looked better. They looked high quality. The other VHS looked like clunky shit at the time. And I think within 6 months, we were no longer selling Beta. Go figure, right?
No, Ty. The Gore series was not an appendix and you perv.
Oh, but the Gore series is good. I'm
felt unclean.
It's terrible. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's just so terrible.
Dude, no way. That dude.
No, we had a drinking. We had a drinking game in college. We had one of the Gore books, one of the later ones, and we just had it in the apartment. And so the drinking game was you had to read a page out loud and not laugh. And like it could be a random page, whatever. And so if you laughed, you had to drink. So it was, oh my God, you'd be blasted after 6 pages because you could not read that thing and not laugh. They were so over the top ridiculous. So yes, that's.
I remember I bought the first 12 books in that series for 25 in paperback at some place in the Poconos that was selling used books. I'm like, oh man, this is really cool, like great fantasy series. And the art is good. The first
2 or 3 aren't too bad.
First one I felt like a little bit like all right,
he starts leaning into the BDSM a little bit. Like
the second one I was like, all right. And the third one I was like, this is like when my mother reads romance novels, but more pornographic. And I'm not sure I like this anymore. It's like, what the hell's going on with this? And then I stopped.
Yeah, because Tenkar tried a couple of moves with his girlfriend. She's like, no, that's she's like, oh,
sorry, I don't like to get bitch slapped and then cuffed. No, I'm not even a cop yet. What? Come on, that should be
the story about the guy. So the guy who wrote the Gore books is a professor. I can't remember his real name, but he started out as kind of like a kind of a soft, porny, adventure type thing. But he noticed that all the letters he was getting that were like praising it were about the BDSM sections because he'd have that. So he started putting those in more and more, and he started getting more and more praise. And so he's like, well, screw it, I'm just going to do BDSM fantasy then, because that's what's getting all the the fan letters. And then so one thing led to another, and that's why the later books are just absolutely horrible. They're because he leaned into that so heavy it's not even funny.
Sex sells.
Yeah. It did for him, and he made a whole career out of those books. So apparently somebody said he still teaches. He's like in his 70s or
really
80s or whatever. Yeah, he's still a teacher somewhere. And he does not regret the fact that he republished them because it made him a lot of money. So
I listen. Money talks, bullshit walks, right? Hey, if people want to pay for fantasy sexcapades, I guess God bless you. I mean, think about it. Who's reading it but probably 13-year-old, 14-year-old boys?
Well, I'd like to announce now that Frog God Games is coming out with an Gore adapt. No.
Wait, that was already done.
Sweet. I just did that because I want Zach to have a heart attack while he's listening.
While he's watching? No, that was already done. James Desborough did the Gore adaptation.
Oh, that's right. James, he did. Whatever happened to that? I guess that's still around somewhere. He did his own adaptation of.
Yeah, he licensed it and did an adaptation, and I couldn't tell you. I mean, maybe listen. The setting itself in the first book and a half, that before it became disturbing, seemed pretty interesting. Then it became
it was actually a pretty good setting, but like I said, it just got hijacked by the BDSM stuff in there. Hey, there's a Gore movie out there too, by the way. If you want to get really, if you're ever like I was when I was a kid, and it's in the 80s, and you're at the local video store, and it's late at night, and everything good's been checked out, and there's that Gore movie on the shelf there. So yes, that they actually made a Gore movie.
But Mike, there's so much. I'm not gonna say so much better stuff. There's so much other stuff available on demand. I don't think it will ever sink low enough that I'm going to put Gore on the list of things that I want to do.
Wow, it actually came out in '87. I thought it was earlier than that. I guess I was really, really lonely one night in 1987. I had to go get the Gore movie, which was terrible, by the way. So maybe you should do a Silver Bulette Gore. I mean, you never know. That could be.
We think we could get the Gore license.
I think it's going to be the next. It's going to be the next Mork Borg. I think it's just.
I find the movie, was Rowdy Piper in it?
I don't know. Probably. I don't know.
Better.
Ask Ty.
Better to play the main character, but
Ty seems to know more than I do about it. Ask Ty if it's in his personal library. There, he may have it. Or
Ty,
maybe
Could we do a private showing of the Gore movie at your place in North Texas this upcoming year?
In a very special room with very special people
on Laserdisc.
Oh, hold on.
Oh my!
We got to flip the disc. Hold on. Now it's time to go use the bathroom.
This could be a 5-minute intermission while we change discs.
Now I'm actually looking if I can buy it for the midnight auction. I think I'm going to buy some of these for the midnight auction.
I remember watching Star Wars
look up Amazon,
on Laserdisc and at my friend's house up in the Poconos, and literally, you're like, great scene. It's like, what the fuck just happened? Hold on. Go up, eject, flip. You got to flip the disc?
Of course you do. Come on, man. All right, let's see if I can find a copy on Amazon so I can buy it for the midnight auction.
Tenkar and Ben Mike have been teasing big news for weeks, if I recall. Have you
what?
News here? You got
news? Listen, we are the big news. Okay.
What we're teasing big news?
Oh, listen, when we hit 1,250 subscribers, we're giving away $250 on a various live stream. In drive-thru RPG money. That is big news. It's happening in a few weeks or sooner if you fucks will subscribe.
Subscribe.
I mean,
Yeah, that's right. It's amazing.
I'm doing a Kickstarter, and I know like 37 other people doing Kickstarters right now. Like,
Ooh.
are those all big news?
You know, I can only, I have the YouTube channel, I have the blog, and I kind of split the news between the two. And the things that I get more opinionated on is usually on the YouTube channel, so I can like be opinionated and shit on stuff that I think needs to get shit upon. That's where the opinions go, and when the announcements kind of go elsewhere. Oh, I guess Swords and Wizardry is no Continual Light's no longer Swords and Wizardry Continual Light. It's Continual Light. We're working on a final layout and edit for it, probably out within the next week or so. I know it's getting. We're there. So that'll come out as Continual Light. That's a big announcement, but it has nothing to do with Mike.
Wow.
I love him.
So new news, Mike and Eric have just sold an unlicensed gore game to Justin Lanasa to produce.
Let me tell you something. If we did that, it would be out before anything legitimate he actually has.
The only thing they wanted was Ty on a tarn, on some sort of pneumatic tarn. And
For those following along at home that did not see the announcement on the blog side, SAR Frontiers, not Star Frontiers, TSAR Frontiers.
Czar Frontiers?
SAR Frontiers, where the graphics on the cover are now changed to looking like Russian peoples with Russian hats.
Amazing.
Is the new Star Frontiers parodies, the same parody you saw before, but now you can download it at drive-thru. I mean, whoever is doing this parody, God bless them. It's no longer from. First off, the company that's doing it on drive-thru is OSR Games. OSR Games, by the way, is a trademark of Justin Lanasa, so that's a interesting fuck you. But the actual copyright inside it says it's copyright Pen Crib Games. So apparently it's copyright a 10 crab monster that looks vaguely like it's making fun of me. And I'm pretty sure it is, since they sent me the logo to say it meant in good fun. So, I mean, I don't know who's behind it. I have suspicions.
We're also apparently, again, Rocky just messaged me, we're putting out a monster book that's all Tenkar created.
Okay. 10 Club, 10
with Battleado themed sidekicks.
Okay, thank you. That's awesome.
I mean,
It's Mike, yours is just a little.
Why am I always a sidekick?
I can't wait to see Mike drawn as Quatlu. That's all I'm saying.
I'm always the sidekick here. I don't like this.
Never the bridesmaid.
Well, I just want to let you know, I can't buy a copy of the Gore movie, but I can get an on-demand copy, and it says I can have my own watch party. I can rent it from Prime Video and have a watch party. So maybe this is. We can set this up for North Texas.
I better not have to rent it too.
Watch parties.
We have to rent it and have a watch party. So we'll have to do that one night.
Someone somewhere is getting a royalty check for 3 cents.
Oh man!
John Miller says that the author of the Gore novel.
Oh, so he's retired as a professor.
He's retired.
By the way, thanks Ty for totally hijacking the conversation to Gore, which
I appreciate it. Well, it wasn't him with the Appendix N. I don't know if Zelazny is my favorite Appendix N author, though, if you're going to pick him.
You know what? I think what's interesting about Appendix N for the Zelazny, it suggests the book, was it Shadow Man or Shadow Jack? I've read that. Have you ever read that? It's interesting because it really, it's not it doesn't seem like an Appendix N book. I mean, I've read it, and the only thing that I thought was any kind of Appendix N was it does talk about the dimension of shadow, which actually never appeared in any DSR.
I think it talks about some of the magic stuff though, like when he's talking about because he first introduces a Logris in that one and like talking about how to guide magic. So I think in that he was still even trying to pull apart a magic system. Like this is a way a magic system could look. This is how essentially in that whole series with Zelazny, they're gods. Right, so it's like how might your gods interact with the world?
And if you haven't ever read the Jack Vance stuff, obviously that's if you play D&D, you really need to read the the Jack Vance stuff, because that's where the entire magic system came from, and it's not even a. I mean, it's pulled directly from the books, the spells, names, the way that they cast magic, everything. So it's kind of cool to actually read that.
What Kugel the Clever, who is, essentially becomes Gord, like in other books, like honestly, like it's there's nothing wrong with Jack and like a character type, but like that one's lifted pretty strongly if you want to see like the original sort of thief.
Yeah, Dying Earth is where it's at. Yeah, Dying Earth is. I mean, if you read that, that's everything. And then the other one I found was really cool was Poul Anderson. I mean, because his stuff, it's absolutely, you could tell, you could pull out the stuff that Gary took for D&D. It's absolutely obvious, where he got his D&D ideas from Poul Anderson stuff. So,
Lee Brackett is a pretty straight lift for a lot of stuff too. That she did like a crazy amount of stuff. That
High Crusade's a big one. That has
High Crusade's one of my favorites.
It's a great book. The one I didn't read till just really a few years ago that I really liked was what's the one where they had the trolls in it? Shoot! Oh crap!
The Poul Anderson one.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm looking up his bibliography here, which, good Lord, the guy wrote so many books, it's ridiculous.
High Crusade has a board game that came out in the early 80s too, but it's like super impossible to find.
Really? I did not know that. There's a board game? Seriously?
Yeah, Zach probably has 3 of them.
Well.
Oh, well, I'm looking at Poul Anderson.
3 Hearts, 3 Lions, solid.
Yeah, 3 Hearts, 3 Lions is great. 3 Hearts, 3 Lions is really good too. Oh, the Broken Sword, yeah. That has that's where you got the idea for trolls regenerate. I mean, it's so Broken Sword. I didn't read that till a few years ago. Broken Sword's really good. If you ever have a chance, if you haven't read Broken Sword, read Broken Sword. That's really, really, really good. But those
probably most of Appendix N. The one that evaded me for a long time, just because it's hard to find, was Margaret St. Clair's stuff, because she's got she was quoted pretty heavily in there, but it's nigh impossible to find her stuff.
But it's great. Cool. Oh, her books are really good. Well, and plus her books lean more towards kind of the Gamma world, post-apocalyptic. But
you even look at any like the Planescape stuff and what that morphed into, and you're like, well, shoot, like that's a lot of that original stuff. Just
Margaret
you can see her birthing that idea and it going out there.
Is it called the Shadow People? There's one called the Shadow People. I think
Shadow People is like super tough. I didn't buy it. It was like $80. My mom gave it to me for my birthday. It's the only reason I own it. Sign of the Labyrinth is
really good, yeah. And that's more post-apocalyptic kind of.
But those are cool. You talk mega dungeon stuff. Like, that's all that she's talking about is like, hey, there's like a super dungeon underneath everything. Good luck finding it and getting out and getting in. And
Zwicky, the manly way with Silver John, that's pretty much the Bard. I mean, if you take those those are great stories, but that's if I had a Bard, I would play him like Silver John. That would be my Bard, because I think he does a great Bard character. So
no time.
No, they're not really. No, we're not going to talk about gore anymore. Man, this guy has a fetish. He's probably. I'm really worried about him now. He's trying to get us to turn the conversation back to gore. So. That worries me. It does worry me.
Has he even read gore?
Probably. He might. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah,
I don't know. He has
really hope he has full-size posters of every gore novel, like just like his office just covered in gore.
Oh, there's another one in James. Okay, yeah. Seeing that.
Nobody ever advertises they like gore. It's probably in a probably Zach and I didn't.
Are you also a John Norman fan?
So I'll tell you something. This is an absolute true story. So when I got online in the early 90s, I was in what they call the AOL marketplace, which used to be this cool spot where you go and you buy, sell, and trade stuff. And so I was looking. So I had all these half-price books near me, and so people say, "Yeah, I'm really looking for this." I could find it real easy. That's where I got my start selling online. One thing people were looking for were gore novels, specifically a complete set of gore novels. So I could find them all the time in half-price books. So I'd go buy them and then resell them for like 10 times the value. And I am not kidding you. This is absolutely true. probably so the first, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, I probably sold about 10 full sets of Gore novels. 9 out of the 10 people were women that bought them. Women love Gore novels. And so finally, the curiosity got the best of me. And so I asked this one woman who bought the set for me, I said, I just have to ask, I mean, what's the deal? You know, why do so many women buy the Gore novels? Because for those that don't know, the Gore novels are basically BDSM, but it's all basically, you know, women are treated like cattle, or women treated like, right, treated like pets. And she said, there's this whole society built around this. So she like gave me this, this is back in the early days of the World Wide Web. She gave me like this website. She goes, we all meet here. And she goes, and we also have a secret group on AOL. So I went to the secret group on AOL, and it was all these people that pretended like they were people in Gore. They talked to each other like that. I was like, holy crap. So it was this giant society of people. It was kind of underground.
That's one hell of a rabbit hole.
The start of Mike's live action role play Gore.
And then that's where I'm at now. And so in North Texas, we have our secret Gore game every year. So
thank you for not inviting me again. I appreciate it.
It's a LARP.
I'm always relieved when I don't see that invite. Like, whew.
It's a LARP. It is a LARP, but it's fun. I think that's the only LARP we do at the con, but it's fun. So, but no, so apparently it's kind of one of these things that's kept underground. It's kind of a below the surface or underground, and nobody talked about it. But yeah, women were really into that. So I just always thought that was the craziest thing because, but yeah, so what can I say? And then it led to me where I'm at now. So that's where I got all my success.
All your success was due to Gore.
Yeah, reselling the complete
again, Ty takes control of the conversation when he's not
almost
the conversation.
No.
By the way, Bill Barr says High Crusade was an Aries magazine from FBI.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's why I didn't see it.
And written by Zeb Cook. I didn't know that. Interesting.
Well, Zeb Cook did a lot of really great. Everything Zeb wrote's awesome. And let me tell you, one of the best games you'll ever find, role-playing games you'll ever find, was a Zeb Cook game that's stuck in Dragon Magazine. Favorite. It's called Gangbuster. No, it's not good. It's called Crime Busters. And it's in one of the early issues of Dragon Magazine. And it's like a 10, 12-page pulp fiction crime game. It's great. And then Zeb probably wrote it in an hour he had off between lunch break. I mean, that's how great Zeb is. He could do stuff like that. So yeah, anything Zeb wrote. I mean, Zeb was so multi-talented. He also wrote stuff like the Cheers game, and then the Honeymooners game. I mean, he wrote all those crazy games that TSR had in the 80s.
Did he write Dallas?
I don't think. No, he did not write Dallas. Dallas was not a TSR game. That was a not SPI. One of those other. Maybe it's SPI. I can't remember. But no, he wrote. I think we determined he wrote Cheers. I think he wrote the Honeymooners. There might be one or two he wrote. So the guy's just he's a legend. He's multi-talented.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yep, and he'll be at the con this year, Mr. Zeb Cook.
Oh,
really?
But I don't think he's I don't think he's written up any games yet. So
All My Children also, according to Zach.
Oh yeah. Oh yep, yes. Zach and I confronted him about this once, and he was not comfortable about being confronted with this knowledge.
He was not comfortable.
All right, I'm still trying to catch up. These comments are fucking flying by, man.
That's because it's because a few idiots took control of the comment section here.
Hey, whoa! We like Ty.
Oh, I meant Zach. I didn't mean Ty. I said a few idiots.
Sure. I mean, if you're picking on Bill Barsh, I mean that's you're allowed to.
Yeah, Bill. Yeah, I forgot Bill's in there too. So you notice we don't ever get Ben Barsh anymore. We get Bill now. We don't get Ben. See, Ben would have helped our demographic a little.
But yeah, because we have nobody under 25 that watches this show.
Zero under 25. We're absolutely invisible to the lower class or the lower kids, the younger kids.
They're like, I don't understand this. What are they talking about? Where's the graphics? Why isn't it better, production quality? Where's the snazzy stuff? We're old men.
Yeah, the background, Rocky's background looks like my background when I was in South Padre Island. I have that porch behind me. I have to pull the curtain. So
it's just curtains. The lake is behind me, but it's dark out. You can't see anything.
Well, I just looked at the time. Guess what? It's 9:00, and we did 3 hours last night. I don't think we need to do 3 hours again tonight.
I don't think we can do another 3. As much as I enjoy Rocky and Ian in a completely platonic manner, just so they know.
Yeah, but Ty and Zach Bill popped in, so now they ruined everything. I'm not really that
I had some great gore questions, and
Ty has agreed. Now, for those who don't know, Ty has agreed to sponsor a gore LARP at North Texas this year,
and a showing of the gore.
Actually,
movie.
through his law firm, so his law firm's name will be on there. So that's great.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So Ty's law firm has agreed to sponsor a gore LARP, so that's going to be great. And Frog God Games apparently is doing a gore adaptation. So this has been a really amazing night.
These are unofficial, official, and non-announcements.
Yes,
so you all know. And apparently, anything that comes out of Justin Lanasa's
apparently Bill Barsh through Pace Center Games is going to put out some gore scenarios. So this has been an amazing year.
Their whole production release next year is all gore based.
Yeah, I think
they're going to do an ecology of the Tarn.
Oh, jeez.
And then they'll have a whole book of those weird, kinky leather harnesses.
Yeah, we're gonna sell. We're gonna sell those at North Texas. Those little they have the little bells on them.
With a little dice holder on.
For the midnight auction, you'll actually probably see me
Yeah, Robert's gonna come in dressed in one of those outfits. Not
wait, do I can hold the leash?
Yes, you hold the leash.
We'll both be canceled. Holy shit!
Robert will come in with the little outfit on. You can hold the leash.
Yes, Ty, what have you done? Ty, listen.
It's out of your hands now, Ty. It's gone.
Ty,
you started this shit, all right?
Yeah, you did. You started. He's gonna have to live it down now. So great. I can't wait.
You are now a captive of gore.
So that was the super special news we've been waiting to share with you, John.
Yeah.
Ty is a captive of gore now.
Oh man,
we've all felt like prisoners of gore.
We have one time or another. So, all right. Well, thanks you so much, Rocky and Ian, for coming. And one time, let's pitch your Kickstarter one more time. Fantastic Geographic. Geographic, fantastic Geographic.
Fantastic Geographic. It runs until the Tuesday after GaryCon. Find it on Kickstarter. Find us on Facebook. All the normal stuff.
And I tried to just back it, but I realized that I don't have my password with me. I have to look at my password.
No, I was going to back
it. How many gore novels were there?
There was in the 20s. I don't know. It was quite a few. There was quite a few. He was like a machine, man. There was one every year. He was a machine. He'd have one every year.
Like nouns,
and they weren't that big. They weren't like these. Huge...
The later ones were gigantic.
Oh, okay. They weren't
they were.
Wheel of Time novels. It was like, oh my god, this could have been broken into 3, and there's still like 9 of them. No, they were like, I could read it in a day back when I had no fucking life.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, we're also having a live gore reading at the convention too. So.
Live gore reading.
I think Alyssa Fadden has agreed to do that. So
I think you should do it reverse role though. So you read all the female parts and she reads all the male parts.
Yes, that's exactly how we're going to do it. Yeah. So
Mike, get your voice a little higher.
It's going to be gore all the time in North Texas.
Oh, it's so gory.
Oh my god, cringeworthy is what I would say. Yeah. But hey.
Oh, our new special guest is Grim Jim. I forgot to tell you that too. He's gonna show up and run a couple of sessions. So yeah. This is our big announcement today. This is gonna be great.
It's all on the. This is April 1st, but it sure seems like it, doesn't it?
Boy, man, I'm crying. I'm laughing so hard. I'm crying. I swear.
Ty, you made my spouse cry.
Well, we appreciate you guys letting us on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Check out the Kickstarter. It's like pretty much ready to deliver. We're just waiting on final art, and then
good luck with your projects.
Find me
coming up.
Dwarrel Deep's coming up. I'll be at the IPU booth at GaryCon. Ian won't.
And then we'll see you both.
I'll be doing maps for this alleged completed adventure that Mike Battleato says he has.
Oh,
The
I
Gore
have
adventure?
2 of them. No, I've got 3 of them. I can.
Yes.
If you really want to, I'll send them to you. I mean, I hate for you to have to
and send him
work
the
on them,
I want to edit them
randomly
too.
generated maps, and then
I would love an editor. Unlike some other companies, I appreciate editing because sometimes editors are needed.
Cross
Yes.
out the whole thing.
editing.
Hey.
Come on, dude.
Start again.
My name's not
all
Lanasa.
you need is
I welcome
Grammarly,
it.
man. Grammarly.
I'm just gonna write
does it all.
derivative on everything.
That's better than misspelled. I'll take that. Well, thanks, guys. We really appreciate you coming on, Rocky. We hope you're feeling better, man. And
I'm feeling great.
I can't wait to see you guys this summer. This is going to be great. We're going to have a great time. Hopefully, Rocky and I both have lost some more weight by then, and we'll be able to walk around.
And the 3 of us. We hopefully we can lose an Ian. Not actually Ian, but maybe like
just
the weight of one.
Just the weight of
I'm a
one.
big boy.
Ian's a small guy compared to the rest of us. So.
Super tiny.
He's a wee folk. He's an elf. All right, he's an elf. And we're all like the large dwarven stature, not in height. Sorry, but folks, as always, thanks to Ian and Rocky. And I will abuse them in person when I see them in person, but it won't be at ClarryCon. So there we go. We're still in the midst of the world of COVID. We kind of touched on it. We didn't go too deep into it. Listen, the world is opening up. I still say use your common sense. All right, that's it. I don't wear masks, so my common sense might be different than yours. Be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice, and God willing, there will be a tavern chat tomorrow night at 9 p.m. I was going to say this is a big week. I was going to cancel it, and Rachel told me I have obligations and I can't cancel it, so I guess I'll be hosting it.
Sorry, man.
Friday night, 8 p.m., the Random Generated Party, the new podcast with a bunch of assholes that I hang out with on Mondays and game with, will be joining me and Joe the Lawyer for the live stream, and Game with Health Saturday at 8. I'm way too fucking busy. All right, folks. Again.
Later.